Hello everybody, Water here. Welcome to episode 24 of my Oxygen Not Included Let's Play series with the Space Dot DLC. In the previous episode we built a generator for liquid nuclear waste to power our research, and then we started working on an industrial-sized Pacu Ranch for our future food production. And that's where I would like to continue today, so let's jump back into our colony and have a look. And we're back at the Pacu Ranch. Now the first thing I would like to do is actually add a fourth chamber at the bottom layer here, since for one it looks a bit lopsided, and for the other there is nothing else I could do in this space, and I am not a fan of, well, wasting space. So let's get going. The first thing I will need to do is build in the floor, and since I can't put water in this spot, I'll have to put it up there, so I'm just changing the shape a tiny bit for this chamber here. It will also need water. So the water comes from up here, then over, and then down into this spot there. I also need a bridge here and here. And you know what, while I'm here I might as well add the bridge up there, so I can finally make use of this filter here. And wait, that's not the way this is supposed to be. There should be a connection here. Yeah, that is strange. Okay, let's see. And now it's flowing. Okay, now it's working as intended. So then I can connect this to the miscellaneous liquids pipe here. And that is looking quite decent already. Okay. So then while I'm here, I might as well mop this up and get it out of the way, because I will have to, I think actually have to access this layer here, and I don't want this to drop into the chamber below. So with the water now flowing, all that's left is waiting until this chamber down here is filled in. But while that is happening, I might as well start working on a few minor side projects. The first is over here. We have this conveyor reel and the receptacle, which are filled with gold. And I might need all the gold I can get my hands on quite soon, so I'll allow my dupes access to that. The next one is a little problem I noticed already last time, and that is if you go in the gas overlay here. You can see parts of my base are being flooded with carbon dioxide from the coal generators up here. And that is not a situation I would like to keep as is, so I'm going to encapsulate this. On this side here I'm just going to put a wall in. And over here I will need to get access, so let's see. Yeah, that should be all I need for 2 liquid logs. Well, let's put one up there, one down there. I still need to get this closed up, so I need an alternative to this wire here. So that should do the trick. And once this is closed off, I can put in a tile here too. I still need to deal with the output though, so let's put in a pump, yeah, let's say here. Then I need, not like that. Come on. Like so. No. Then I can snip this off in those spots. And here. And then I can connect this straight down. I will also need power. And a little bit of automation, so I'm not drawing a vacuum, which could cause the coal generators to overheat quite quickly. So, yeah, now let's just wait until this here is built and I have my liquid logs in place. And that is looking way better already. As you can see, the carbon dioxide is now trapped up here, and down here it can now properly dissipate again. Very nice to see that. Now, next up, let's have a look. Okay, this chamber is now filled, so I can turn off the output at the top there, just like this here. And wait until this whole line here has emptied out. While I'm doing that, I might as well start working on this central chamber here. So for that I need walls. I'm going with airflow tiles for now, since I will have to put in proper layers of liquids, and if I have carbon dioxide in there, that might be a bit of a problem otherwise. Then I am going to put a temporary mesh tile here and here. That means I can also get rid of this, and well, we'll have to get rid of those 2 tiles. So I can later on get on top of that. Then down here, I can already place under food water fort right here. Then under shipping, I can put in a conveyor loader here. another one there, a third one up there, then a conveyor chute here, on top of the walls there. Then I can already connect a couple conveyor rails. This one here will go over there, and then this one needs to go into this line here. Let's see, yeah. Let's do it like that, then over here. And if I snip this off, then it works perfectly fine. Then I need a bridge here. And that's already all of that. Now for power, I will have a power line going straight up here. Then over there. And this is the power line from over here. So I just need to connect this like so. And while I'm here, I might as well run this all the way to the bottom already. And there's a lot of polluted oxygen around here. I might as well add at least somewhat temporary deodorizer somewhere in here. Let's see, how do I want to do this? Let's put one here, one there. I won't need those letters here anyway. So then for power, this one here will go over there and over there. And let's actually make sure this is built first, because I really don't want any polluted oxygen in there. So this should be done soon, I would say. So this has now emptied out, so I can also start cleaning this up. I'll need to get liquids in this chamber here, so I can snip this off right there. And the rest can go. The liquid went 2. And down here I can plant my 2 deodorizers, just like this here. So with the chamber now properly walled in, it's time to get the liquids in here. And just notice I forgot the liquid vent right here. That should be done first. But what types of liquids do I want to put in here? Well, I want to layer the liquids. And the first liquid I want to put in is crude oil, which should be in this pipe here. Yeah, let's say 10 kilograms of crude oil, followed by 10 kilograms of petroleum. And then once those are in place, I can start replacing those 2 airflow tiles here with normal tiles again. Because if I have a liquid on top and replace them, the liquid has a tendency to fall through while the tile is being replaced, and that would play a bit havoc on the setup down here. So first the first 2 liquids in there, and then I will continue from there. But while I'm waiting on that, I might as well start planning a few more things, like for example this auto sweeper here. Then I can also get rid of this ladder here, because that is where I want the fish release, which will go right in this spot here any second now, at least once Ruby here is done. So that is now in place. Then I can also start building a bit of the automation over here. So first I'm going to add a pneumatic door, at least once the saving is done, on each side of those chutes here. Then under automation I'm going to grab myself a critter sensor out of gold, place it directly below the feeder. Then I connect this to this one here, then down, and then through a future NOT gate to the other one, like so. Then I can grab the NOT gate and place it here and here, and I mustn't forget about the automation bridge right there. That is looking quite decent. I might as well also continue with the setup of the rails down here. That is all I'm going to need for the rails here, except this one here will go half to the right and half to the left. So I'm going to grab myself a couple bridges to make sure everything flows in the direction I want them to. And that should be all I need over here. And then I can, with the liquids now in place, replace those 2 tiles here against normal tiles. Now I can put in the missing liquid layers. First, I'm going to start with ethanol, which is in this pipe here. 10 kilograms should be far enough. Then brine. followed by salt water. And then I'm going to skip the polluted water and go directly to clean water, and this I will run continuously until the whole system at the bottom here overflows again, similar to those chambers here. So let's see how this is going. Any second now we should see the first liquid coming in and spreading out. Yeah, that's exactly what I want to see. Which means I can also start filling in those walls here with normal tiles again. And any second now, let's speed this just a bit up. We should see those layers here coming in. And now we have the water flowing. And we can see now the top layer here is being filled with water. And as I said, I am filling this until it overflows to both sides. Now, this is all being built. Next up is putting in the internals for those chambers here. And let's start with those two chambers here. And the first thing I need is some shipping. Namely a conveyor loader here and another one there. Next to that an auto sweeper. And they need to be connected for obvious reasons with the rail in the middle. Then I need some power, which comes here from the middle. And we'll have a little extension to the bottom there. Then for automation, I'm going to grab myself a critter sensor and place it in those two corners there. Then I will need an OR gate, which gets placed right here in the middle between the two loaders. Then diagonal to that I need a NOT gate. And then all that's missing is some wire going from the critter sensors into the OR gate. And then to the NOT gate and then to this point here where we'll later on place a door. And that is basically all I need to do for all of the other chambers too. Those here at the top are a bit different since I don't need the OR gate and can simplify the entire circuitry a tiny bit. Now I'll grab a couple pneumatic doors and place them on top of the autoloaders. Just like this here. Up here in this corner I can place a normal tile, just like so. And what I will have to do following that is putting in mechanized airlocks, although those can be out of copper, in those spots to the side of the chambers, which will close off them against each other and against the chute in the middle. Although I will have to do this from the top down, or otherwise I won't be able to actually reach everything with my tubes. So that's something that needs to happen. Another thing I need to do is mop up the water in those spaces here. So the pneumatic door and also the chute here are free of water. That should be done quite soon, I hope. And yeah, as you can see, I already turned off the water flow from the top. So I can also start getting rid of this pipe here. I no longer need it. And up here the same. Then I can also get rid of this bridge. And this bridge. And this bridge. And so on. Shouldn't take too long, I hope. And then I can start snipping this here into pieces. And reconnect the wire as it was supposed to in the very first place. So. Then I can also get rid of the liquid vent there. And that is looking good over here, but for some reason the water over here is not in the proper space. So let's do one more mopping here. And then I can put in my sweepers, which will also need some power. So I can put the power wire already in place. I can also get rid of this ladder here. And now, as I said, I need to wait until those here are built and then work my way down with the mechanized airlocks. And all of the chambers are now finished. I also, while I was here, added the auto sweepers in those two spaces and filled in the missing parts of the ceiling here. Now while I'm here, I might as well start planning out this waterfall here. It's not really needed, but I like the symmetry. And now let's quickly close this off towards the bottom. All I need for that is an autoloader. and a sweeper, which both will need power. And the loader needs to be connected to the conveyor rail. And once that is in place, I only need to close this off towards the bottom, and I have my overflow done. Now it's time to finish with the top chamber here. First, I'm going to actually get rid of this ladder and also this ladder here. Then I can grab myself a fish feeder and put it right here. And oh, I already had the materials lying around. That is nice to see. So that's good. Now while I'm here, I might as well put in a transit tube access right here. The crossing on top of that, and the tube goes up and then over. And then through here. So I will have to get rid of this there. Now I can put in down here my auto sweeper. Then I can connect here. I still need power for my transit tube access, which I can just run through here. And while I'm waiting on this to be done, I can start with the settings. So those critter sensors are to be turned on, only counting critters when I'm below 9 critters. So then, wait, not below 9, below 8 critters. So no. I could put 9 in there, but I want to be sure that even if 2 Pacus hatch at the same time, it will not overflow, because otherwise I would lose 10 plus critters at once. And that is a bit of an annoyance. So I'm going with a little bit of a safety margin. This here in the middle is set to below 4. Then those conveyor loaders here on the outside, or in the chambers, are supposed to move everything. This one here, oh, let's start with the one at the bottom, is supposed to only move the frags. Same for this one here at the top. This one will be the highest priority and also allow dupes. Then I have this one here, which will move everything except for the frags. So let's go through that. Frag, gulp, and tropical. And now I can also remove this ladder here and then close off the floor there. And that should be pretty much all I need to do in here. Of course, I need to set those here. So, highest priority for my fishes in there. Oh, let's go with 8. That should be enough. And then I'm also setting this to be fed with algae. And that's pretty much all I need to do over here. So, let's quickly explain how this is supposed to work. So this is a breeding tank. I will have up to 4 critters in here, which should have enough space to be quite happy and start breeding like crazy once they are fed. The eggs land on those ledges here. And then when they hatch and the breeding chamber is not full enough, then they move towards the breeding chamber. If the breeding chamber is full, those doors here toggle their state, and then they move over here into this chamber. Once this is full, the door here opens. Well, this opens, and they can reach the next chamber. And piece by piece, it will open and fill in all of the chambers below. Or at least that's the idea. Now, I still need to get my hands on some critter eggs, or Pacu eggs to be more precise. So I'm going to remove just these 2 airflow tiles here, so my dupes get access to those frags. And those should be turned off. Yeah, that works. And we should very soon see those frags being moved over into this setup here. And we have something to print out, so let's have a look. Is there a good dupe there? Slow learner, not really what I'm looking for. Slow learner again. This late in the game, I try to avoid this because they learn skills very slowly. I have enough hatches. Let's go with the blossom seed. Can always do something with that. In the worst case, I can use it to feed some fishes, but yeah. So this is now all being done. So with that out of the way, let's continue on the next project, which is a Pokeshell ranch. And for this, I'm going with a very simple setup. So I'm just going to need a floor. And then walls with pneumatic doors. Then I have a forward space. And then I have another 2 pneumatic doors here. Airflow tile there. And a transit tube crossing here, which means I need some space over there. Then the transit tube itself just goes 3 in and then down, which leaves me enough space for a grooming station, a feeding station, and a drop-off. So my dupes can use this to actually get in here, but they won't be able to use this to get into the tubes again. So why am I doing this? Well, I want my dupes to actually be able to grab a critter from here, then go into the tubes and release the critter in the proper range, because otherwise there's a chance that while my dupes are running along the spiral shaft here, well, the shift ends and the dupe lets the critter fall down and then it's free to go wherever it wants, and that is something that is extremely annoying and happens all the time. So let's grab our transit tube access and put it in there. I'm going to need the crossing here. This one here needs to go as well as this one here. I need power, which I can grab from the top here, and I'm going to use the wire I'm also using for those here. So let's put this in there. Then I can connect this to the network. And that's all I need to do up here. Down here I'm still missing some of the shipping, so I need an auto sweeper, which as you can see here can reach everything it needs. Then I can put in the conveyor loader. And then for power, I'm just going to use the normal power wire. And finally for the conveyor rail, I already have one running along like this here. And I'm just going to copy this 2 more times until I'm at the total of 3 Pokeshell ranches. So next up are the various settings. So the conveyor loaders are moving everything. The critter drop-off is only for the Pokeshell and spawn and the oak shell and spawn. I don't think I have the sunny shell available yet. Yep. Higher priority. And then copy. Now for food, I'm going to feed them with polluted dirt and rot piles. That way I can get rid of that quite easily and don't have it lying around in my base, and I get also some quite useful sand out of that. Then these here I'm setting to a slightly higher priority. That's all the settings down here. Now let's get to our incubation setup. So I am going to use the second incubator setup here. So first I need to move the eggs over to that one, at least once the saving is done. So critter eggs. And here I'm going with the oak pinch and the pinch roll. Then I need to set these up. This one here is for the pinch roll, and this one here is for the oak pinch roll. And this one here will be for the sunny shell, but for now I don't have that available yet. So that is now all set up. Now let's have a look. I think I remember, yep, there is one over here, so let's get that one. And I think there's also a couple over here, so I can also get my hands on those. That should be all I have currently running amok in my base, I suspect. Yeah. Okay. Next step is making changes to the setup for my hatches. So I have also an exit for the transit tube inside of them. Mainly just rearranging the position of those components a tiny bit. And here we go. Took a few cycles, but now the hatches can be moved directly via the transit tube access in here. I also, while I was here, added a transit tube exit to the pip ranch down here, and also added already some shipping. Now, since my pips are all over the place and I will also have some lumber lying around at some point, I need to access everything in this area here, but fortunately I can do this with just 3 auto sweepers and 2 conveyor loaders. So that is all now done. And the next step is adding 4 more of those pip branches here for future proofing, because as you can see here, I have way more pips than I can put in the ranches, and it's taking a toll on my incubation setup. So let's get a couple more ranches right in this spot here. And a few cycles later, I now have 2 working pip ranches. Unfortunately, the 3rd through 5th I can't finish right now since I'm a bit low on gold. Since, well, my 2 gold volcanoes are both dormant. Although this one here will get active in just a few cycles again. So for now, I'll have to deal with just 2, but that is enough for right now, since I'm currently still working with wild Pacus, and those won't breed much. Anyway, while I was working on that, I also added a transit tube exit here to the left, in case I have some glossy or normal Dracos to transport. But while all of this was being built, I had a quick look at the Pacu Ranch over here, and I noticed an issue. Those Pacus can't find food, although there is food up here. So I suspect that they can't probably pathfind through layered liquids like this here. I didn't test this in advance, unfortunately. So I think I'll have to work on getting just plain water in here, which is going to take a decent while. Okay, so now I need to wait until the water level is high enough again, and then I can work on rectifying the situation here a bit more. As you can see, I closed this off by replacing the chutes with tiles, so I'm not flooding the chambers with a surplus of water, which would be rather annoying to get rid of again. Anyway, for now, as you can see, I need to wait until the water, which is currently coming from above, has flooded all of this, and then I can work on getting this here back into the correct configuration. Now, while all of this is happening, I should give my dupes something to do, and a big contender is over here. This is now decently cooled down. I also, a while ago, disallowed my dupes from getting plastic in here. So I am no longer producing liquid naphtha, but to be totally honest, if you look up here, there is way more liquid naphtha than I'm ever going to need in this reservoir here. So yeah, let's get rid of this whole chunk here. And since I already have a liquid lock down here, all I need to do is basically get in here, and then I can start simply digging out all of this here, except for this last tile there. So I remain in a vacuum in there. And then once all of this here is dug out, I will manually move all of the debris into a single tile, maybe over here. And then I just need to remove the tile below, and then it will drop directly into the water below without unnecessarily heating up my base. And done. Now let's get rid of this single tile here. Drop everything into the floor or into the water at the bottom, and then I can start cleaning up all of the surroundings here, so I can then start removing all of this here. It's no longer needed. Let's actually make sure it's only the buildings. And with everything here cleaned up, it's time to have a look at the bottom, because I suspect, yep, the water level has decreased far enough that it makes sense to move the pump a bit lower. And you know what? I'm going to add a second one below, just in advance, since it will be necessary or useful quite soon already. And that way I won't have to build it when it is time. Power is already in place. That means the last part is the gas pump, the gas pipe. And then I can get rid of this part here, the automation, and also the sensor, like this here. Okay, now let's have a quick look at our Pacu Ranch and see how far we got here. Yeah, with what I had in there, I would say this is maybe a third of the way done, or almost half actually. So that will still take a while. While this is going on, I might as well start digging out the rest of this frozen biome here. Because for one, the water or the ice might be useful, and I don't need more water. I already have a lot in reserve. So, as I said, now it's time to get digging. And done. Now with all of this here cleaned up, all that's left is sweeping the leftover debris and occasionally mopping up the thawed ice, or well, water. Now, let's have a look at our setup here. Okay, the Pacus are already eating, that is good to see. And the water level is also almost there, so there is not much time left to wait for. So I think I'll just give my dupes some digging orders over here, and then I'm just going to wait until I have the proper water level. And there we go. We are almost finished with refilling this with water. I already turned the water off at the top, so this should work out quite nicely. As you can see, the last few drops, and we are just about done with filling this layer here. So let's see. Yeah, the carbon dioxide is in this area here and stopping the water from expanding. I'll have to do something about this in a moment. But that means I can now start mopping up the water over here, and I can also start cleaning up the whole pipe situation over here. And done. The repairs are all finished. The last things to be done are the proper settings and reactivating of the conveyor load up here. I also need to change the settings to the one below. And also the critter sensor needs to be counting critters again, because I have 4 critters in there, so this is exactly the way it's supposed to be. And very soon we should see this whole Pacu Ranch here getting into overdrive and producing more and more seafood. Very nice to see, and also nice in combination with an algae distiller, which is the main reason I have this over here. So then let's clean this up a bit. And yeah. Now let's have a quick look how my dupes are coming along over here. Yeah, they already dug out a decent amount in this area here and over here, and at some point I will also have some more Pokeshells. But that is nothing urgent over here, and I think this is a good point to stop with this episode here. So let's quickly recap what we managed. We finally finished with the Pacu Ranch, even if we had a couple of setbacks. We managed to work around them in the end. We also added a couple of ranches for Pokeshells, optimized the ones for the hatches, and added and optimized the pip ranches down here. And did some additional cleanup and tidying around the base. And with that, we've reached the actual end of this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like, share, and comment if you did so. It really helps with the algorithm. Independent of that, I wish you a nice day, and well, see you.